Welcome back to the Corner Faster, Get Fast series. We're at Lime Rock Park in the Porsche Cayman GT4 car, using the iRacing simulator to get up to speed in 50 laps. This video, laps 13, 14, 15, will focus on shifting and gear selection. Previously, we learned the layout, learned how to look ahead with purpose, used all the available track surface, and drive at the limited grip of the tire. Now we're starting to carry a bit of momentum through each corner, and it makes sense to figure out just exactly which gear we intend to be in for each corner. So before we even do that, figuring out what gear should we be in for the car. We're going to make sure to take most advantage of the peak horsepower by being in the lowest possible gear and revving it out all the way to red line before shifting. Might be an ideal shift point just prior to red line. It takes advantage of the gear ratios and horsepower curve both in the gear that we're in and at the gear we're about to shift to. But the point is to figure out what that ideal shift point is for each gear and hit it every time. It also makes sense to literally map out for each corner around the track which gear we intend to be in at the slowest point. And note anywhere where we're in between gears potentially. So second and third gear for the left-hander and fourth and fifth gear for the right-hander. And then we can validate that in the simulator. Making sure we're in the sweet spot of the power band in third gear all the way through Big Bend. And it does seem like our minimum speed stays in the sweet spot. For second or third gear, we can try it both ways. Second gear is going to give us more rotation, controlled rotation around the rear, and better drive off the corner. Third gear might help us carry a little bit more momentum. Definitely fourth gear for the uphill and west bend. But we do have the question of fourth or fifth for the downhill. And again, it's a matter of more rotation and acceleration in the lower gear or momentum in the higher gear. But either way, don't hit the apex curve at the downhill. Anyway, the last thing to take a look at once we've figured out when to shift, which gear to be in, is when should we downshift? And the biggest downshifting zone at Lime Rock Park is definitely into turn 1, where we start out in fifth gear and have to get down to third gear. So personally, I like to space out the shifts in order to maintain a smooth and consistent brake bias all the way through the brake zone. This is as opposed to staying in fifth gear until the last moment and then dropping it down into third gear. Actually taking advantage of some of the additional trailing throttle can help add some rear brake bias at exactly the right time in the middle of the brake zone. So that's why I do like to work through the gears in rhythm. We'll take a look at that in a turn 1. You see waiting until basically at the end of the curve to shift into third. That's pretty much it for shifting. Like I said, it's pretty much third gear through Big Bend, probably all the way through the left and right-hander, and then fourth gear through the uphill and west bend. Maybe fourth, maybe fifth into the downhill, but as long as we make sure that we're shifting at red line, downshifting smoothly into the corners, then we're ready to move on to the next stage, which is starting to shape the corner to prioritize exits, and then we'll keep building from there.